always be closing if you want the knife set. Welcome to the Dennis Miller Show. I am the aforementioned Mr. Miller, taking your calls in our next segment at 866-509-RANT, 866-509-7268. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes as a radio host to figure out who's happening, and because the venues get bigger. And our next guest out on the road right now, I'll give you some of the dates, but these venues, each time Adam comes in here, they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm expecting to see LA Coliseum sometime in the next 2 months or so. Joining us now, comedian Adam Carolla. His website is adamcarolla.com. Welcome back to the show, babe.
Thanks for having me. Sorry, my voice is shot, but, you know, the venues get bigger.
Yeah, no amplification.
Talk louder.
Right,
yeah.
You've got to project to the last row. When I first saw Adam in Little Foxes, he was projecting all the way to the back of the theater. And with sans amplification, I said, this is the next great American theater star. Carolla, the OWS thing. Unbelievable. I was on, when you said plastic participation trophy.
Yeah.
Absolutely killed me. You struck a note there, man. That thing went close to viral, right?
Yeah, it did go viral, and you know, I didn't know because I was just doing my podcast, and it wasn't like I put together a prepared statement or anything. Someone just asked me about it in the middle of my podcast, and I realized it was one of those things. I felt like a child that had been molested by an uncle, and I'd sat on it for about 30 years, and then I'd had way too many hot toddies at a Thanksgiving party, and he said, pass the peas, and I just went off on him. That's basically what happened, and I think we all kind of felt that way. It was just sort of out there bothering us,
yes.
Sort of burr in our saddle, but no one really said anything about it, or at least that much about it, and I realized I had a lot of built-up rage about it.
Yeah, it's like sitting on a trash can full of rage, and you can't keep the lid down, and then all of a sudden, it was cathartic for all of us, my friend.
Yes, thanks. I just sort of purged, and I realized that it felt that way for a lot of other people, and, you know, because you and I are the same way, and so many other Americans. People are working 3 jobs now. We're not camping out for months at a time. And, you know, I understand that the man is always going to be there, and he's always going to be skimming and wetting his beak, and there's always going to be, you know, big pharma and big oil and big banking and big everything. My point is that's going to exist. And by the way, if we kicked out every guy in Wall Street right now and put you guys in charge, you'd put away the hacky sacks and pick up the calculators, and you'd be doing the same thing they're doing inside of 6 months.
Yeah.
So that's always going to exist. You focus on your family, paying your bills, and, you know, essentially make your lawn the nicest lawn in the neighborhood, and if everyone adopts that attitude, we'll have a great-looking street.
Yeah, I feel that the fringe element is naive to the point where they can't even note the irony that they have all coalesced into a big loser movement. You know, there's big oil. There's what's happened here is all these disparate losers come in for a G7 or a G20 or an OWS, and they all get together, and it's just like they're just like the rest of us. They've got the same pack mentality. It's just they don't support themselves, and we're getting pissed off at it. Now, what about when they break out the tear gas or the pepper spray? I guess I'm supposed to sit there and go, this is oppression at its highest level, and I sit there and watch it in the same joyful way I watch Len Berman's sports bloopers or something.
I mean, a couple things. First off, after those guys are dipped in patchouli, so the pepper spray has no effect. There's no stronger substance known to man than patchouli oil, and those guys are knee-deep in it, so the pepper spray is a welcome relief.
Yes.
And secondly, they always just pick up the pepper spray and throw it back at the cops, which would piss me off to no end if I was a cop. The pepper spray bottles need to have something spread on them, perhaps fecal matter, so those guys won't just pick it up and chuck it back. But secondly, I've been saying for years, forget about attack dogs. What about attack crows? Crows are the meanest birds on the planet. They're angry.
Yes.
I happen to know they hate hippies. And if the LAPD had attacked crows, it would disperse this mob in a matter of seconds.
And if you question that, folks, you ask Il Duce hanging there upside down.
That's right.
On the bridge. We're talking to Adam Carolla. What about some sort of super mucilage applied to the tear gas canisters? So they come out and they're applied with a slick mucilage at the end, and when the kid picks it up, it immediately crazy glues to his hands. I'm just thinking outside the canister here.
No, this is all good. The Velcro, the mucilage, which I thought was a cereal up until now.
The warning on the side, I'm rubber, you're glue. Listen, let me give you some Adam's dates for tour dates and ticket information, by the way. Go to Adam Carolla Hates the Holidays Tour.
Why not?
On adamcarolla.com. December 15th, Anaheim, California at the Grove. And that's a great place. I've done that gig. The 16th, San Francisco at the California Palace of Fine Arts. That's that beautiful place from the Malcolm McDowell plays H.G. Wells movie out there. December 17th, Phoenix, Arizona.
From the movie The Rock, by the way, but continue.
All right. December 17th, Phoenix, Arizona at the Orpheum. I'll give you the rest in a second. I don't know what the kids are protesting out there, but sometimes I think if anybody sat down and actually read some of these reports and digested them, they would feel ashamed about what they're supporting. I saw a recent study about leaf blowers are our problem as far as emissions. This
has been driving me insane my entire adult life, because all you have to do is get the night shift to know how much you hate leaf blowers, because I did Loveline for a million years. I worked 10 to midnight, go to bed at 2 a.m., and would be woken to the siren song of a chorus of leaf blowers every morning at 7 a.m. So just the sound pollution is bad enough. But when you're just out walking your dog or, pushing the kids in the stroller, and one of these guys just has this pig pen from Charlie Brown's sort of plume of rat fecal matter and vulcanized rubber and dander and whatever else was formerly on the ground, now airborne. We live in a society where if I light up a Marlboro Ultralight on the beach alone with a 70-mile-an-hour wind blowing offshore, I'll be tackled and taken into custody. Why do these guys get to go around in impunity? And they found out what's coming out of the exhaust pipe of one of those leaf blowers is actually, they just did a study, actually worse than a Ford Raptor truck V8, 6.2-liter V8 4x4 truck. More is coming out of the exhaust of one of those things. Why not just eliminate them and give Jaime an extra $15 to pull out the rake? It's killing him, too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Although the last time I looked at my guy, he looked like he was in the Andromeda. He was Arthur Hill in the Andromeda Strain. He had a face mask on. It was unbelievable.
Well, yeah, that's because his dad died of leaf lung.
Folks, can you fully see why this is my favorite podcast in America today?
But what goes on at the dinner table that night? Pass the tortillas. What? I can't hear a thing.
I know, it's like a calypso jackhammer or something. Yeah. It's their version of it. A more soulful jackhammer. We're talking to the great Adam Carolla. You want to see him December 18th in Las Vegas at the House of Blues. Then he shuts it down for the halls. Thank God. I was going to say this is too Nightmare Before Christmas if you were going to work over the holidays. December 31st, Sparks, Nevada, at the Nugget, and I can't say this guy's name, John Escagas Nugget, and then January 1st, 2012, big New Year's Day and New Year's Eve show at the Nugget in Sparks, Nevada. And I think your opening act, if I'm not mistaken, Herman Cain's wife, who's getting out of the house, getting a little more out on the road. Is this true?
Yeah, I'm just bringing her out so she can speak to my wife, because my wife would say to Herman Cain's wife, well, let's see, beef's about Adam. He does kind of tune out when the kids are talking about SpongeBob SquarePants once in a while. And sometimes I feel like he's not as intimate as he could be. He doesn't look me in the eye when he speaks, on occasion. Now, what and then Herman Cain's wife would be like, is that it? Is that all you got? This is going to be awesome. Sit down, sweetheart. I'm going to waterboard you with tears. And then when I'm done, you're going to go take that former shell of a husband of yours and worship at the altar of him.
13 years subsidizing another chick. At that point, you'd rather you just look him in the face and go, I'm a freak. What can I tell you? I hit everything that moves.
I know he must have had, his policy probably was, when I get off the road and don't nail something on the road, I'll tell you. Until then, just assume I did. Some guy has to step forward and say he's been having an affair with Herman Cain's wife. And I think that guy's got to be either me or you, Dan.
All right, just for equality in the workplace. Johnny Pizza Seed was his name, by the way, out there. As he walked the countryside. Yes. Give the folks real quick a tutorial on how to pick up the podcast, Adam.
You just go to iTunes and it says subscribe, but it's free, or you can check out the app at iTunes. The app's free, the podcast is free. It's all free, and it's a daily show.
Well, it's the biggest one in America right now, folks. Sure, get out there. It is the hottest rising. And Adam, well, you can hear it. I mean, who makes me laugh harder than this? And those dates are available at AdamCarolla.com. It's the Adam Carolla Hates the Holiday Tours. We'll see you in 012, my brother. Go out there and get them.
Thanks, Dennis.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Later, Gator. God, how funny is he? When he puts those screeds together where he just takes the core fir tree and keeps stringing the tinsel off it. Oh, nothing makes me laugh harder. Back after this on The Dennis Miller Show.